Lee says, Brandon started his talk exposing the absolute horrible hate message from Trump on Thanksgiving. I cannot forgive such hate from these MAGA people. I'm sorry. That's okay. That's okay. I hope one day you can, for your benefit, not for their benefit, for your benefit. We don't need that toxin in our life. Listen, folks, we know, right? We know that what we're facing in the world, we're facing these two very polar ideals, two very polar groups of values, and one says everybody's deserving respect, everybody is deserving of love, everybody's deserving of choice and freedom, and the other says sure, that's all fine and good so long as you do it my way. And we're seeing on one side a group who is really quite willing and okay with others being hurt so long as it's not them. We're seeing, and I'm not calling anybody a fascist. I'm saying we're seeing fascist ideologies rising up on one aspect of our political spectrum. There's no denying that, right? It's there, and it's something that many of us aren't going to be able. That's something that many of us aren't going to be able to stomach. With that said, we have to deal with it. Okay, we do. We've got to deal with it. But what I don't want us to have to deal with as well is the toxin of our anger, the toxin of our suffering and pain and the betrayal that we felt, the toxin of how it feels as though nobody was listening to us, right? The toxin of, we don't need the toxin of our anger as well. Like, we don't need to deal with that as well as dealing with the repercussions of what this second term may be. We don't need it. We're going to be, from a stoic perspective, it'll make us that much less effective. It'll make us that much more ineffective if we're dealing with our own feelings and our own emotions towards them. Oh, that's interesting. In logosynthesis, there's three sentences that we say. And the first says something along the lines of, I retrieve all my energy bound up in this thing. And the second is, or I return all my energy. And the second is, I return all non-me energy. So all the energy that comes from the outside. So we're dealing with my energy and we're dealing with the energy from the outside. The third sentence, though, is one that I really love. And what it says is I retrieve all my energy bound up in my reactions to. So my anger is a reaction to. My pain is a reaction to. My feelings of betrayal they're reactions to this thing. I need to be able to deal with this thing. And if I'm dealing with my reactions to it, that's going to cause issues. It's going to make me that much more ineffective dealing with the real problem. So forgiveness in this case frees us from that negative energy that we're experiencing because of this thing. It frees us from that so that we can deal with this thing. Carrying the anger and the resentment, it's not going to help. It's not going to help us deal with the problem. And I know somebody out there is going to go, no. I do my best work when I'm angry. Sure. For a very small bit of time. And then the anger takes over. We've got lots of work to do in the world. Lots and 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 lots of work to do in this world. Whether Trump was elected or not, whether MAGA has had power or not, there was still a ton of work to do in this world. My anger my feelings of betrayal, my resentment of, the pain that I all of that, that's going to, if I allow it to remain in my life, I won't be an effective agent for change. I will not be an effective messenger for God. I will not be an effective healer, an effective pastor. I won't be an effective leader. And that's true for all of us. And right now, the world needs messengers, and it needs healers, and it needs change agents, and it needs leaders. So, listen, I get it. I understand. Please, if you only take this one thing from this talk for the next 2 hours of all the stuff that we're going to talk about, if you only take one thing from it, forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself so that you can be the person God knows you can be and the person that God needs you to be in this moment. Because all the things, all those negative feelings that we're carrying, they will become barriers for us. They will become things that keep us from doing what really needs to be done. They will become things that keep us from being the healers and the pastors and the leaders and the teachers and the preachers and the change agents that the world is so desperately needing. Amen.